Want to level up your leadership? Welcome to The Boss Coach.
A dash of cool, a splash of class. The Boss Coach leads, no time to pass. Oh, the Boss Coach, the leader's guide with swagger.
Oh, hey, if you would like to hear the full uncut version of the Boss Coach podcast theme song, send me a message. I'll be glad to get it to you. And then you should probably ask yourself, where did you go wrong that you wanted a copy of that? Okay. Hey, boss, how's business? How are you doing? What's new in your company right now? Anything? Any whispers of a reorg? We've got an episode coming up in the near future on that very subject, so don't worry, I've got you. Thanks, as always, for listening and clicking. My name is Patrick McGranahan, and welcome back to The Boss Coach. If you're new to the show, you may want to go check out the podcast trailer. That's episode 100. Gives you a little background on what exactly The Boss Coach is all about. All right, so let's jump into today's topic. Santa Claus. What is it? Since Christmas in July? Why should you be Santa Claus? What am I talking about? Well, let's ask a friend of ours, Mr. Michael Scott.
Do I need to be liked? Absolutely not. I like to be liked. I enjoy being liked. I have to be liked.
Speaking of Mr. Scott, of course, from NBC's classic The Office, I got the idea for today's installment from his farewell episode. We rewatched it recently, and I forgot how good it was, but there's a part where he gives away a leadership book he's been writing to, I think it was to Daryl, and it was called Somehow I Manage. It was bonkers. One of the chapters is just called Gum, and the only thing written in that chapter is, everybody likes the guy who gives you gum. Well, it may sound a little idiotic, but there's actually some wisdom in there. Michael's need for admiration was obviously really, really extreme, but the valuable lesson here is about likability. How important is it that you're liked by your reports, your leaders, your partners? How relevant is likability in leadership? And it reminded me when I worked in the coffee business. So mostly it was college towns, like Big Ten area college towns. And most of the employees were, of course, college students. And they were going through their own travails, of course. But I like to say that I knew how I was doing with them by their reaction when I walked into the coffee shop. So if I walk in, they're at the counter, they see me. If they smile, I'm doing well, right? So I call it the smile factor. And if they didn't smile, I know I ticked them off somehow and I need to dig a little deeper. But the important thing was knowing how to tell if you're in favor or not. How are you in terms of being likable? Whether it's a smile factor or something different, you'll know that barometer. So circling back to the theme, with only a few exceptions, everyone loves Santa Claus, right? Well, statistically, 85% for North America. But for these purposes, Santa just symbolizes the person who makes everyone happy. He gives you stuff. He makes you smile. He's always giving. When you see Santa, something good's about to happen. Well, that's cheating, right? That's bribery? Well, hold on. This isn't just about giving your team lunch parties, birthday cakes, gifts, etc. You'll go broke and they'll probably take away your company card. No, I'm talking about much, much more than that. Too many leaders are more like the Grinch. They withhold not only tangible gifts and gum, but also praise, resources, opportunities, attention, all the basics of servant leadership. Santa Claus is all about giving your people stuff that they want to make them work harder and be more happy at their job. That's all the basics of servant leadership. Giving leaders are not just nicer people. It makes you feel better, makes them feel better, but they also get results. Studies actually show that they improve engagement, loyalty, trust, and retention. Employees who are valued stay. This also aids in their growth and development, culture, productivity. They need to feel valued, and to do that, they need to see that you value them by giving things of value. So now I'm going to turn to a very, very wise leader that I learned from named Tom Flick. He's from Tom Flick Communications and also Cotter International. He actually did a better job here than AI at summing up what I would consider the 8 leadership gifts that you can give to your people. And these are things that cost very little to nothing. Gift number 1, give delegation. That feels counterintuitive, right? You're trying to give people things to do. You're trying to give them your work. But people actually want to do more than their daily routine. It gets very old. You're in meetings, you go to offsites, you travel, you do a lot of different things, but they pretty much do the same stuff every day. Giving them something different is a chance to prove themselves, to contribute to the overall mission. It makes your life easier too, giving them some extra things to do that will make them feel more engaged. So here's an example. When I ran a trading desk, we had this complicated spreadsheet with all the investment models in it, and due to the nature of the software, you had to use that for an upload. I held it very precious because one wrong move and trade errors would reciprocate. But I ended up giving that to a team lead who really was great with spreadsheets, Excel, macros, etc. And I took the leap. He was getting a bit stagnant, so I let him take over the spreadsheet. He did wonders with it. He learned new ways to add macros to it, to do cross checks, to verify and validate that the data was correct so there wouldn't be any errors. Did a much better job than I could. That gave him such fulfillment to the point where he was confident enough to eventually be the manager of the team, making my life easier. Please give delegation whenever you can. The second gift is give importance. Leaders often grinch praise and credit where credit is due, right? If they do something, people above you say, hey, great job on that project. You say, yeah, thank you, rather than giving it to the people who really deserve the praise. Use your one-to-one touch bases to give encouragement, pep talks, etc. Recognize even the smallest personal things too. Like, I can't believe that you can juggle parenthood and still be productive. I can't believe you're, working on this big project. You're restoring a car, but yet you're still taking care of your family. Whatever. The little things that show that you recognize what they go through, that you notice it, and that they feel important. So here's an example. I was complimented recently because of the success of this process change that we did. And I immediately said, yes, Kelly drove that innovation. She got results. Take credit for building a great team, yes, but don't take credit for their individual accomplishments. And when they see that you give credit to them, they know that they can trust you and that you're truly giving them importance. All right. Third gift is give feedback. Great leaders know the difference between feedback and criticism. Criticism or coaching should only be given at the time that it happens, not at the annual review. They shouldn't have to wait until you get around to reviewing them to talk about something 6 months ago that you think they may have done wrong. It should be done at the point in time and not later. Praise should be given the same way. Really, proximity is key here. Close to the time they did it wrong or did it right, that's when you want to praise them, give them that feedback because it shows that you're paying attention. Here's an example. I had a guy working for me before, I think this was also on the trading team, named Sean. He did a great job, but he was always asking what he could do differently. He never seemed to be satisfied with his own work, even though I pointed out that he was hitting all his marks, he was hitting his metrics, and everything looked great, no errors. So finally I asked one day, what do you see as your opportunities? He was obviously looking for a blind side that he was waiting for me to identify. It's not really up to you as a leader to identify every blind side. They should have some self-awareness as well. When I asked him what his opportunities were, he pointed out a few things he wanted to work on. Now, rather than invalidate him and say, well, no, I don't see that. I think you're great in those areas. We just instead use this as an opportunity to talk about how to overcome those things that he saw were shortcomings, how to use those opportunities to really level up his game. So it's just really about self-awareness and esteem. So once he had his self-awareness validated, his esteem got better. Sometimes you're your own worst enemy, right? So the fourth gift is give encouragement. Now, have you heard the saying, a rising tide lifts all ships? I love that one. Great leaders are never threatened by others' accomplishments. They just make you look better. Leaders who make leaders have no ceiling. You got to remember that one. Here's a great example. Recently, I was training up a brand new team we launched a couple months ago. And in the closing statements, if you will, just kind of wrapping everything together, last day of training, I mentioned during that they were all chosen for a reason. And so someone asked, well, why did you choose me? So I said, oh, well, you're the glue. You're the one that brings everybody together. You're likable. You help form the team. Well, then everyone asks, well, why did you choose me? Why did you choose me? Okay, well, you're the one who may be quiet, but you overperform. You're the one who's a tech expert. We need that on the team. Whatever. I went down the line and explained to each why we chose them. And that was really encouraging to them. They knew that they fit and why they fit. And it ended up being the best launch ever. All right, gift number 5, give visibility. Now, you've noticed a shift from top-down to collaborative, innovative leadership, right? That's something that's really happened throughout every industry, and I really like it. It means that you can call out your top performers to leaders above and not feel like you're giving away your own importance. No, if you give them visibility, then they're seen by others and they're validated by others as well. You're not the gatekeeper to your people, right? How do you feel when someone does this to you? When they say, oh, hey, here's 2 bosses up. I'd like to introduce you. Here's this woman and they're doing a great job. It's just intoxicating when somebody else gives you that ability to be visible to people above you. It's really great. They say things grow in the light, not the shade. People are the same way. Good example here. So I'll bet you 8 meetings, right? That's not much of a stretch. Meetings with your leadership peers especially are a great opportunity to invite an SME from your team, subject matter expert, to give them some visibility and importance. They need to present on a subject. They need to show what they know in front of people who are above them in the org chart and really feel like they're being seen. It's really nice because they get the visibility and the importance part, right? And it's actually kind of like delegation. You're delegating a little bit of the presentation. So there you go. It's a hat trick. 3 gifts in one. All right, gift number 6, give opportunity. Sometimes people just need a second chance, and a giving leader can leverage that opportunity. So if you see characteristics and talents that others maybe don't in your people, you think they're undervalued, you can nurture them and you can turn that coal into a diamond in the rough. That's remarkably valuable to you and to the employee. Let me give you an example. I saw this long-term employee on a different team, and she was kind of floundering. She was doing great, but it was the same old role. She always wanted more, but there wasn't much for her there. I saw that commitment and that sense of urgency, and I snapped her up for my team. And it's funny, the very first one-on-one I had with her, when she was expressing how happy she was to be on this new team and this new environment, she actually cried right there, and I had to keep it together. I don't know about you, but people tend to cry in my meetings quite a bit. I don't know why. We'll get into that later. She actually just retired last year, and it was really a great moment to see how we took her out of the doldrums and found a place where she could really excel by giving her the opportunity. Gift number 7 is give support. I mean, that is the base level meaning of servant leadership, right? Great leaders not only see the strengths, but also weaknesses or challenges or opportunities, and they help people overcome those. Everybody has blind spots. It is a true gift to help someone identify theirs and get past it. Example here, also from the coffee industry. I think her name was Rachel. She was great with customers, great with coffee. Coworkers just didn't like her. So I asked the coworkers, why don't you like Rachel? And they said, it's because she doesn't ever do the espresso machine maintenance and makes it harder on us. So I asked Rachel, how are you on the espresso machine maintenance? And she admitted that she'd never been trained on it, but she was afraid to ask. They didn't like her because she didn't do a part of her job she was never trained to do. I had to smack myself for that, for missing it. It's that type of support you need to be looking for. Find ways to overcome any challenges or opportunities and get them operating at the top level. Last gift is the gift of wisdom. So first, don't tell yourself that you don't have anything to give. That's a cop-out. I get it. Look at me. What do I know? And I'm doing a podcast. You're in leadership for a reason. You have valuable gifts to give. So let's just get past that, all right? Take the time to train, to mentor, and to coach your people to pass along the wisdom that you have. So here's an example, a great one. It's intern season, at least at the time I'm recording this, and I've done this for a few years. Really enjoy mentoring interns as well as managing. But recently I had one I mentored for 2 months, and during it was more about helping them to prepare for the corporate environment. So I did this little series called Corporate Survivor, where I used the show Survivor. I don't know if you're a fan. I'm a big fan since day one. We went through all the lessons of what would it look like to get immunity idols at work. What are challenges you need to overcome at work? How about tribal council when there's a chance that you might lose your position? How do you keep your position? All that kind of stuff. It was really fun, really helped me connect. And when the internship was over, he gave me a hat, a Survivor hat. So I still have that. It reminds me of the importance of giving your wisdom, whether you think you're wise or not. Okay, boss, well, there you have it. The 8 gifts: delegation, importance, feedback, encouragement, visibility, opportunity, support, and wisdom. All so important. Very, very easy for you to use as a tool to level up your leadership. So I guess you got to ask yourself, does anyone give these to you? Are you receiving these? It's probably a struggle to recall. How would you feel if they did? Wouldn't it feel great? All the things we walked through. You recognize the importance. You see how it can help your people. How would it feel if someone did it for you? That's why you should be Santa Claus. That's why you'll always be Santa Claus. Because you're giving people the gifts that are somewhat intangible, but they can change their lives, change the way that they do their job. So, when people see you, do they smile at you? Like Santa Claus? Somebody who really has this down is Dewey Finn. Who? Jack Black from School of Rock. It's one of the best films about leadership, although it's not technically about leadership. So this scene here is where he tries to encourage this middle schooler, Tamika, to be a rock goddess. And here's how it goes.
What's up?
I don't think I can sing.
What are you talking about? Come here. So, Tamika, what's going on? What do you mean you can't sing?
I don't feel good. I feel sick. Just let Alicia and Marta do it.
No! They can't sing like you can. I need you in the chorus. What is it? Are you nervous? Yeah, why? What are you afraid of?
They're gonna laugh at me.
What? Why would they laugh at you?
I don't know. 'Cause I'm fat.
Tamika, hey, you've got something everybody wants. You've got talent, girl. You have an incredible singing voice, and I'm not just saying that. You heard of Aretha Franklin, right? Okay, she's a big lady, but when she starts singing, she blows people's minds. Everybody wants to party with Aretha! And, you know who else has a weight issue?
Who?
Me. But once I get up on stage, start doing my thing, people worship me! Because I'm sexy and chubby, man. The thing is, you're a rock star now. All you gotta do, you just gotta go out there, just rock your heart out. People are gonna dig you, I swear. Let's just go out there, show them what we got. What do you say?
Okay.
How about that? Inspiring? Love that movie. Go check it out. So here's the one thing that you can do today to help your inner Michael Scott likability factor, to help you be Santa Claus, okay? You're going to reach out right now, as soon as you're done listening, to somebody on your team. I want you to do it by email, Teams message, Slack, whatever. Copy your boss, or maybe copy the rest of the team, your squad, whoever, but call someone out on your team in front of others for this great thing that they did. Don't worry, it'll be weird that you wouldn't normally do that, or it's going to come out of left field. Don't worry. Now's the time to start. Today is the time to start being Santa Claus. Call them out for something great they did, tell them why it was important, thank them, and just copy everybody else. Don't make it a big deal. Just make it brief. You did a wonderful job on this. Really appreciate you. Boy, that'll make their day way better even than gum. Thank you all for your time. I'm Patrick McGranahan, the Boss Coach. Make sure to thumbs up and subscribe and anything else that they ask you to do to get notice of new episodes. There's a few out there now. Hope you've heard them all. If not, go back and listen to some. There's some gems in there for sure. Send your comments too. I really love those. I'd like to take your suggestions to make future episodes or to make the Boss Coach better and give you more ways to level up your leadership. Until then, I'll see you next time on the Boss Coach. Back to work, boss.
Thank you for joining us today for The Boss Coach, hosted by Patrick McGranahan. We'd also like to thank our associate producer, Hannah, and consulting contributor, Stephanie. Original music provided by Sono AI Studio. All statements and opinions by our host and guests are solely their own observations and may not reflect those of their contemporaries or employers. Please check out other episodes of The Boss Coach for more valuable opportunities to level up your leadership. Until next time, I am your announcer, Ava. Have a great day, and as always, lead with your heart.